Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us today. We are live right now in the Infiniverse. This is our bi weekly event. Thank you, everybody, for coming, as always, to our event to see these interviews with the folks that are changing the world of education with their XR products. Today, I'm here with Mike from the future. Mike, can you tell me a little bit about your company and where we're at? What's going on here?
Hi, Jay. I'm Mike Christian. My company is called From the Future. You're inside our infinity room, so we're using that word infinite again. And it's, obviously inspired by the Matrix, if you remember the weapons room. But we focus on, actually, Jay, we're getting some feedback from your microphone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. We're live, so we're gonna run into some of these things. It's okay. So let me adjust the microphone here. See if that helps. How's that? Is that better?
Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's great. Sorry, I can't I can't mentally function hearing my own voice for some reason.
No, I got you. That makes sense.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, my company specializes in technology for immersive learning, and more specifically, our specialty is virtual reality, and we mostly focus on skilled trades, that part of the education. And this world you're in right now is a multiverse ready world called the HoloLab VR training. And this particular module is a sales module that we use to go around to talk to people and show them a little bit, get a headset on them so they can start to understand. And so what we do is we integrate the classroom with immersive learning. It's basically taking the classroom portion and blending it with the hands-on portion and skilled trades. So it accelerates learning, makes it cheaper and faster. Plus, I'm in Texas and you're in Oregon, Jay.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep. That's right.
Yep. So what we've done is we've just eliminated travel cost and room and board.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can learn a hands-on skill from your bedroom or office of choice down the street at the coffee bar if you want.
Nice. And just a quick question for you. So we're here in this. We're live. You and I are chatting. So this your platforms can be used in two ways. One, for live simultaneous training, which you're going to show me a little bit, but then also for asynchronous training when the modules are done up for a trade school or a company. Is that right?
Yeah. It's designed to be flexible so that depending on the training, the user can go by themselves at their own pace. But a trainer or educator, teacher could drop in and answer questions if they need to. In some cases, we even enable group training. So there's some construction projects that we're working on where 5 people work together to put together a frame for a computer system. So this is the sales app, and just what you see in front of you is one of the big screens, and these screens can be anywhere and take any shape. In fact, the other shape they take is the cards right here. When I pick up a card, you should see that screen change. In fact, our outfits changed because I picked up a construction themed card. And so if you look at me, I think I should be wearing a safety vest and harness now. Correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm no longer a naked fireman, so to speak. I am now a construction worker. But yeah, like some of our construction modules, we teach, PPE with the glasses, the gloves, the hard hat, and the safety vests and fall harness.
Oh, sorry about that, Mike. I'm back.
Sometimes,
we had a little tracking loss there, but we're back. We're back, everybody.
Okay. Do you see the plane?
I do. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, what was the last thing you heard me say?
That you had these modules, and then we went to the plane because we dropped out and came back in. But that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. We're still connected to the internet, and as everyone who's ever been on a virtual call knows, these networking issues can interfere with any kind of technology.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we like to take people in here and we like to show them just on scale. We won't do it right now for the sake of time, Jay, but
Uh-huh.
a lot of times we'll take people and stand them on top of the end of the tail fin up there. Actually, let's go
Okay.
ahead and go. If you know how to teleport up there,
Yep. Yep. I'm
we'll
following
just
you
go up
now.
there. All right, we'll just go on up there. This is not normally something you do in the real world, obviously.
Oh, wow. Here we go. Up to the
Yeah.
top. Wow. Check it out. Yep.
But
Okay.
this is where we make this is evidence in hand of how your brain is tricked in these virtual worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're a little bit cartoon-like, correct? This plane, it's not, it's fairly realistic, but it's still far from perfectly real. But we feel like we could fall to the pavement and kill ourselves at any moment, right?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, we like to use this as an example of immersive learning, and we've got several things in here that show how to put an engine out and stuff like that. But I want to get on to something a little bit more interesting, so I'm going to take us out.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay. So, after we've looked at the plane and the scale and given very positive proof of how this environment tricks your mind, then we go on to show a little bit how we use this desktop approach to integrate curriculum with the hands-on. And the best example right now, at least in the sales app, is the Boom Lift. So this is a Boom Lift control panel. We're going to go look at it. And what we have here is a miniature boom lift that we can actually operate just like the big one. And in our boom lift module that actually teaches the full training of how to operate one and how to be safe with one, we'll have slides stepping you through each control and what the safety ramifications are and things like that. But here in the sales app, we just have a little demo of starting it. We'll pull the stop button, we'll engage our foot down here on the control, and we're able to drive it just like it was real. So
wow,
the joystick here on the right moves it back and forth, the thumb steers it left and right. You can rotate the boom itself up here, lift it up, you can elevate it and bring it out like that. So yeah, this is just a nice little example of how sometimes seeing stuff from I'm gonna go ahead and close it, from a God's eye view can give you a different perspective. And here you could have an entire job site, and a lot of times we show what an entire job site can look like on top of this desk and the safety features involved. And what happens when you run a boom lift over a ditch or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we experienced that together in another scenario, didn't we?
Yeah, well, actually, we're going to experience again for the folks that are watching this right now.
Okay.
Because that's always fun.
Perfect. And each of these are different trainings, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this shows another, the full simulation of a boom lift. And what you can do is in this particular module, we can just go ahead and teleport directly into the basket to save some time.
Okay.
And then I'm going to operate it just pretty much like I did the desktop. We'll go ahead and raise this way up in the air though, because this is where we really, some of these boom lifts can put you 80 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
Which is an amazing height when you think about it. Go ahead and extend this. And if you'll notice on the ground there, we have some construction dummies. So when we demonstrate safety features, we don't, even though they're not real people, we don't want them to look real. So we go ahead and use these crash dummies as our way of showing safety. If we run into one, it's just one of those guys, not a real person. And now I'm going to drive over this obvious hole, but on a job site, the hole might not be so obvious. It might be covered by boards a little more effectively.
Right.
We're going to see what happens here.
Well,
all right.
That's what happens.
If you look down, yeah, it's not pretty. But we're safe up here where we can watch what happens and get a good sense of the scale, the destruction of the boom lift, and he's gone now. But our poor dummy that took my
Mm-hmm.
place dropped down. So, and we can actually teleport down, but I'm gonna take us on out.
All right. Whoa, that's crazy. So, how many? Out of curiosity for everybody watching, now, do you have a normal content library that people can subscribe to, like maybe a construction company or trade school wants to do a boom lift or a few basic trainings on equipment? Do you have any of those ready
Yeah,
for?
well, ready, not quite. We're building that library. So this module with the construction and the boom lifts, we
Mm-hmm.
have a MUP, mobile elevated work platform is what they
Mm-hmm.
call them. They change the name every few years, but I believe that's the current. And that'll train you on boom lift and scissor lift. And we have a partner right now, top 10 construction firm that's partnering with us and supplying the subject matter expertise.
Great.
And that will be available soon to people, any construction company or anybody that wants to learn how to drive a boom lift and wants to learn the safety aspects along with it, or a scissor lift.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're in the process of doing is building several dozens of modules that are in the skilled trades. And we're focused on construction at the moment, but we're
Perfect.
also working on some aspects of the energy market, which
Okay.
I'll give you a little glimpse of next.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. So this is let's see. Oh, there you are.
Yep.
And for some reason we're firemen again. But yeah, this is a pipe fuser made by McElroy.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it allows you to take polyethylene pipes and fuse
Mm-hmm.
them together. And what you're holding right there is a heater.
Mm-hmm.
We actually have another module that's not part of the sales app that shows a couple of different ways to fuse pipe. One of them is with a much smaller device called the Pitbull. This
Mm-hmm.
bigger device is called the Trackstar. And there's just a whole slew of these things. So it's really important to learn how to fuse pipe correctly because gas and oil flow through these things, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of problems if the pipe doesn't support it. And so we allow interactions with these. We've learned how to lift and move parts. In the full module, you'll be able to teleport over there, and you can see it has tracks like a little bulldozer. You can actually
Mm-hmm.
drive it around, and we can actually put pipe in here and fuse it.
Oh
And
wow.
then, of course,
Oh,
somehow we popped out.
oh, I think that was my fault. I was trying to get behind you and I popped us into
Oh,
the exit.
that's okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. Now, if you look real quick, and I'll turn it off, but we
Mm-hmm.
have a little feature sometimes that we like to do if it needs a little bit of you got an expert trainer or teacher you want to capture,
Mm-hmm.
you can.
Hello, my name is Ted,
Hey,
and I will be your trainer for this portion of the Fusion Training course.
thanks,
In
Ted.
this section of the course, we will be learning key factors for making quality fusions. Practice identifying.
Okay, I didn't want Ted to go on too long.
I love that. That's great. I mean,
No.
it's so interactive. I see some of
Mhm.
the training videos right now out there that are just videos for some of this equipment. And in those two dimensions, of course, you pick up information. But in this space,
Mhm.
even just being lectured there with that sort of AR avatar talking to me
Mhm.
makes all the difference in memory and retention.
It really does, and that's a really good point. And what we've learned in the second and third generation iterations of VR education is that it really pays to blend what you know. I mean, don't
Hmm.
don't throw away the last few decades of what we learned about teaching people, especially
Right.
when you mention retention. Bring in those retention techniques and then heighten them. Combine them with the VR. I think a lot of first generation VR was like, hey, let's replicate the world as we know it as perfectly as possible. And what happened is you lost a lot of the cognitive fidelity to visual fidelity.
Hmm.
People were focused on the wrong things. They were worried about that tree over there looking realistic or that building over there. And
Hmm.
that's a lot of time, and money, just resources spent that should be focused on the education.
Right.
So that's why you see us in a infinity room rather than just a full blown a neighborhood, we're allowing people, in some cases when you're doing a simulation, that's fine, but in some cases where you're learning specific pieces of curriculum, you don't really need the distraction. Plus,
Right.
it saves on the budget, which is important to everybody, right?
Yeah. Yep. So
Jay,
question for you real quick. So you're developing
yeah.
some public content with this construction company that will be for any construction company that wants to do these trainings. But what if I'm a large construction company and I want my own trainings in VR for not only my current employees, but I know that construction companies across the United States right now are facing a shortage of students wanting to go into the industry, and unfortunately, I think it's because they don't realize that it's not just a road sign or standing there with a road sign or hammering it at concrete, right? That's the images in people's head. But if we can do stuff like this for these high school students to understand, hey, wow, I can do this and I can do that, and I don't have to go get a bachelor's degree. I can go through this trade school training for a year or two, or even an internal company training that gets you through that after the age of 18, right? So, I mean, I think it's so important to have these libraries. So if I was a company and wanted to do it for high schoolers, plus my my own company, I can come to you and ask, for a quote on that.
Absolutely, and those are really important notes. There's a shortage of workers. There's going to be a bigger shortage, of course. We've all heard about the a lot of the older people that make up 30% of the workforce right now in the trades are going to be retiring in the next 10 years. So, if we're not being innovative, then that gap's going to be widen, and these companies that could be getting more business if they had more people won't be getting that business unless they're able to attract these people.
Right.
And I think you're right, Jay. I think when a student can get exposed to this stuff, let's say they're in high school or in college, and they realize what's possible and what they're capable of, I think then it opens a lot of doors for them. I think a lot of students, they're not really cut out for a classroom for whatever reason. Might find out that, hey, this is what they're cut out for, and this is what they enjoy, and there's really good jobs out there to be had. Now, and if a company approaches us and they want a particular curriculum, we work with that company and we work out deals. We're very creative when it comes to the business end because we want to see this stuff out there.
Right.
So, if you're an innovative company and you've got a large burning desire to be on the forefront of this technology and see the results before your competitors, then we'll work out an arrangement where you can make your money back and then some with a really sweet licensing deal.
All right. Excellent. That's great. And Mike, the last part there too is as we go forward here in this, and then hopefully in the Infiniverse, people can come visit you and in the store. And by the way, everybody that's watching today, there is a door behind you with the From the Future logo on it. Just go right through that door. You can fill out an inquiry form that you can then set up a meeting to be in here and talk a little bit more about your needs for anything that you want to do. So just reminding you as you're watching this, there is that doorway you can go right through and then fill out the inquiry form. So now moving forward, Mike, one of the things that I'm excited about is, you and I have talked about doing some of the work for job shadows, like having that 360 experience that's interactable and then jumping into a VR experience that is a bit of the training that might go with that construction. So really excited, if anybody is interested in that, please come back and chat with us some more on that if your high school or university wants those job shadows. So sorry to interrupt there, but I wanted to just kind of point that out. It's very exciting stuff that we're doing together. Let's what else you want to tell the people watching today about some of the training and things in here?
Well, there's no end to what you can do, and there's so many things we could talk about that, sometimes I have trouble just homing in on, one particular thing. But let me And this one isn't even that interactive, but I think it can give you a pretty good idea of, things you can do.
Oh, wow.
Right here we have a pump station,
Mm-hmm.
and I really want to build this out,
Mm-hmm.
but we're just going to have to talk about it right now. But imagine, so this is the most sophisticated job of being a fireman.
Okay.
You almost need a math degree you're almost computing these things in real time in your head a lot of times. So it's a tough thing to train for.
Mm-hmm.
And, people can learn by doing just sometimes by imitating the steps that they've been
Mm-hmm.
taught.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that when you really understand what's going on, behind the scenes, that's when critical thinking starts to take hold. And then if you're faced with an adverse, unexpected situation out in the field, because you have that background knowledge, you can adjust accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of a pump station, what I want to do is have an X-ray fire truck behind us,
Mm-hmm.
and based on whatever the the fire extinguishing liquid or chemical substances in the truck, show what happens to the flow when you're cranking this, releasing this out to the hose, or adjusting these pressure valves, or changing these different buttons. There's a lot here to keep track of, and simulating this would be so much fun, and it would be so effective. And it really, I think, even just looking at it and talking about it showcases the possibility of, what if you had X-ray vision where you can see what's going on behind the scenes and understand, and see the direct effect of what you're doing. I think that gives you a really good cognitive model for understanding this work. And there's so many things like that, like the pipe fusion that we were just talking about is another example. So that I wanted to make that point, if nothing else.
Yeah, yeah, and I was curious. We get asked a lot about some welding technology in VR and some of the other trades, electricians, of course. You have to go through that 2-year apprenticeship to go through. Basically, the apprenticeship is so you can see all the different types of scenarios that you're going to run into in an old house, a new house, all of that, and know how to deal with those workarounds and boxes and different setups that have happened in places throughout the year. That's something, have you partnered with anybody in the electrician part to sort of build those types of models out? Electrician,
we do have a couple of relationships we're working on in with the linemen and electrical work in that area, and we've been talking to another community college in the welding arena.
Excellent.
Now, COVID has made things confusing for people. They're not always ready to, even though this is an incredible solve for the problems that people are facing in education right now, is still a new technology. So it really requires some I don't know if bravery is the right word, but it requires some foresight that you're willing to execute on, despite the risk of it being new.
Right.
And with the welders in particular, we've talked about, hey, a lot of times you're not in the most ideal position when you're trying to weld either. You're on your back, you're hanging out over something. There's a lot of aspects to it. So in a normal classroom, or even some current VR experiences, you're learning welding a very specific way at a very specific angle. So if you understand what those angles and the pressure that you're using and the amount of material you're using, how that's optimal, but then also how you can get in those optimal positions when you're on your back, or up on a ledge somewhere. I think that's where the deeper value comes. And again, it's accelerated because we're blending the classroom with the hands-on. So I honestly don't think that the bulk of the welding is going to take 2 or 4 years, depending on which welding track you're thinking. I think it's going to be more of a matter of months.
Yeah, just speeding up the training. And I was talking to another construction company, and a lot of the job shadows or apprenticeships can't happen until a learner turns 18 to be on the site because of hazards, and then they have to wait to start that process. But if they could start in VR ahead of time for construction companies, especially when we're short on some of these positions, you could get them going, and maybe they aren't they're not going to be considered proficient right at 18, but you can speed up that process. They can start participating with your company while they're still in high school, whereas previously maybe they couldn't do some of those things on the job site.
Yes, that's a fantastic point to make that I don't think most people realize is there's a lot of different ways that this saves time and accelerating that schedule because, there's a lot of jobs where insurance, even with training, especially firemen, insurance gets in the way, or I guess, not the insurance itself, but the legal position you put yourself in as a trainer limits what you can train and how you can train. So a fireman needs to learn how to get out of a burning house and not, be faced with confusion from all the smoke. You can't train for that in real life because it's too much of an insurance risk. But in this medium, you can have Bruce Willis explosions going on left and right if you need to.
Little backdraft happening.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's pretty amazing. Well, it's pretty amazing what you guys are doing. It's exciting to watch. I mean, you've worked with a lot of community colleges, and I think one thing that colleges forget when they see this type of thing is if I'm talking to you right now out here and you're watching your community college, you're not by yourself. Like, if we could get these coalitions of community colleges, especially that have these trade focuses, to work together to create some of these libraries that are needed, and then get a few companies that need these positions filled to help sponsor this, then we've got a real shot of having you build something that then is scalable and affordable for everyone. So I really think that, if you're listening to this in your community college, work with us to help build a coalition between Mike and VetX, between From the Future and VetX. We've got lots of contacts, and we can help you bring that coalition together for these scalable labs, so that you have this for the education of your students coming up. And also for the companies that need to fill these positions. So anyway, Mike, I think we're almost out of time here. I just want to say thanks for the time today. Thanks for coming in here. If you're watching right now and you want to hear more, you can, if you're in VR right now watching this, go behind you. But after this session, this will be posted up on YouTube. So go to www.vetx.io or click on the link below. You can put an inquiry form in, and we can meet you here in the VR space or out just in a virtual meeting. But anyway, Mike, thanks. Any last words before we finish up today on this?
First of all, I want to say thank you, Jay. It's been a real pleasure knowing you for quite some time now, and working with you on some of these initiatives. And I just want to invite everybody. It's very exciting. I think once you've had one of these headsets on, and once you've experienced even a simple presentation like what we went through today, not let alone the more complicated ones, then you will want to be part of this revolution. And I will call it a revolution. I know it's a heavy word with a lot of meaning, but it is going to change things drastically, and it's going to happen soon.
Absolutely. It's not a fad. And I think everybody watching understands it, but everybody out there in the physical world that hasn't been in here, it's really hard for them to comprehend that this isn't just a fad or a video game. This is a new dimension of engagement and learning, which is what inspired me to start the company of VetX. So, and same for you. 5 years ago when you guys started talking about getting into the training in VR, I mean, it really does change how you absorb information. So, anyway, Mike, have a great day.
Thank you.
And I'll see you.
Let's shake.
I'll see you later, and I think you can always come back and watch this too in your store here in the Infiniverse. So see you later, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.